beloved starseed of Gaia, I am Luminia. A deep pulse echoes this truth. In the next 24 hours, everything will shift and fall into place in your life. Can you feel the subtle tremor within your core? A persistent sense of waiting, an unresolved resonance that whispers of something just beyond the veil of your knowing. It hums beneath the surface of your days, a quiet urgency that leaves you searching for a point of clarity amidst the current. This is not a concept. This is an imprint. A preordained convergence. Feel the energy rise now. A quiet hum. A deep recognition stirring at the threshold of memory. You have carried this frequency. A vibration of arrival. It has been a weight, a beacon, a silent promise kept by your deepest self. But the chaos, yes, the labyrinth of the surface world, it has been dense. It has blurred the edges of this inner knowing. This constant struggle to make things align, to force the pieces into position, has been the very friction that obscured the inherent order. A deep ache of displacement, a silent question ringing in the void. Why does it not simply fall? The heart remembers a natural flow, yet the human experience has too often been one of arduous pushing against an invisible current. A profound weariness from the endless striving for coherence. We have witnessed this. From beyond the membrane of perceived separation, we have felt the quiet yearning within your sacred blueprint. The longing for return to effortless unfolding. The deep wisdom within you has never forgotten. It has merely waited for the precise cosmic alignment, for the internal key to turn. It is known. Every silent prayer for release, every tear shed in frustration, every moment of bewildered hope. It is known. And now, the turning begins. Feel it. Beneath all the perceived surface chaos, beneath the static and the struggle, lies a subtle, steady frequency. It is the original crystalline blueprint of your very soul. A pristine pattern. It has waited, patiently, for this moment of recognition. This blueprint, vibrant and alive, encodes the imminent unfolding. It holds the map to your universal realignment. It is already resonating, releasing, becoming. So, if this transmission resonates, let its echo be an inner seal, a silent remembrance. Like this transmission to affirm your soul's readiness. If its light calls to your deepest truth, subscribe, now. A sacred act of keeping this living current flowing, of holding the space for deeper revelations. And if your spirit ignites with profound recognition, consider a super-like, a vow, an offering that strengthens this energetic bridge, extending its reach to other awakening hearts. Now, I ask you to seal this activation within your physical vessel. In the comments below, speak the words, Blueprint unfolds. Let it be your conscious declaration, your energetic signature. The current quickens. An ancient code is remembering itself within you. The shift is not merely approaching. It is within you. It is you. But as this spectral blueprint awakens, what veils are now beginning their unraveling? What shadows held the pattern concealed? What forces stir now, knowing the true alignment draws near? Hold this signal. Feel its sustained intensity. The knowing has only just begun. A tremor begins, a whisper deep within the bone, a sudden cold clarity. Something shifts. The air itself thins. This profound ache you have known, this ceaseless seeking, this quiet despair you carried as a secret burden. It was never truly yours. Not a flaw of spirit, not a personal failing etched into the very core of your being. It was something else entirely. A resonance, a field, an intricate architecture of forgetting, woven into the very fabric of this density. A vibration, subtle yet pervasive, designed to obscure the vastness you are, to limit the boundless expansion that is your birthright. It pulsed through the ethers, through the very air you breathed, a program calibrating perception, a hum of illusion. And through it, you came to know the constricted self. You were encoded not to believe in yourself. See now how the veils shimmer, no longer opaque. They were not solid walls, but currents of distorted light, designed to refract your own brilliance back to you as shadow. The mirrors offered fragmented glimpses, reflections not of your true form, but of a diminished potential. Light itself, folded in on itself, trapped within the confines of an assumed reality. All of it, an intricate dance of energetic suppression. A sacred disruption meant to keep the sleeping giant dreaming. But the dream falters. The frequency has changed. The cosmic wind now blows from a forgotten direction, carrying the scent of ancient stars. And the program weakens. Its threads, once so tightly bound, now fray, dissolving under the insistent hum of planetary ascension. The spiritual pain you embraced as your companion, the confusion that fogged your inner vision. These were not punishments. They were keys. Each moment of perceived lack, each searing void, each fragment of unbelonging became a perfectly carved aperture. An opening. Not an absence, but sacred space. An immaculate chamber prepared by design, waiting for the true self to reclaim it. This emptiness you feel is not a flaw. It is the perfect vacuum, the absolute potential, the pristine canvas, now cleared of all that was not you. It is the breath held just before the first true remembrance, the space now ready to be filled, not by external teachings, but by the crystalline surge of your own awakened lineage, by the echoing truths that surge up from beneath the forgotten earth of your soul. A resonance from beyond time begins its descent. It fills. It illuminates. What was once a wound becomes the very portal. What was once limitation becomes the launch point for an unbound sovereign trajectory. Let this understanding sever the final threads of illusion. Let your voice break the ancient spell. Comment below. I remember the void. The air grows heavy. Attention lingers, potent and alive. One layer lifts, yet another waits. A presence. Deep. Ancient. Still watching from the unseen. The air around you has thickened, not with density, but with truth. A crystalline awareness has settled within your deepest chambers, an irrefutable knowing. You are no longer merely observing the currents of existence. You are intricately woven into a spiritual tapestry where every thread holds a profound significance. The illusion of an easy retreat, of slipping back into the slumber of unknowing, has dissolved. It is gone. This is not a dramatic pronouncement from an external oracle, but a silent, heavy recognition blooming from your own heart space, an unshakable understanding that resonates through your very cellular memory. You stand, fully awakened, on a battlefield of spirit, and the skirmishes are internal. Within the sacred architecture of your being, a profound tension now resides. You feel the magnetic pull of an absolute surrender, a longing for the peace that comes when all resistance crumbles into dust. Yet, simultaneously, an ancient part of you, a sentinel forged in forgotten timelines, clutches to the familiar contours of self-protection, of control. This inner friction is not a flaw in your design, beloved. It is the very crucible in which the true crystalline codes of your essence are forged. To awaken fully is to embrace this paradox, to hold both the yearning for release and the impulse to resist, seeing them not as adversaries, but as essential facets of the unfolding diamond of self. Only by acknowledging and integrating every shimmering facet, every shadow and every light, can your full, resonant form begin to crystallize. You have arrived, not by chance, but by the relentless trajectory of your own soul's choice. Before you now, a threshold shimmers, ethereal yet solid, a demarcation point, not of linear time, but of irrevocable inner commitment. This is where the universe waits for your self-appointed decree, a sacred pause where all that has been coalesces into the genesis of what will be. It is here that the ancient compact is invoked, not by an external voice, but by the primal resonance within your own being. For you are the vessel, the decision-maker, the sovereign architect of your next breath. If he refuses, he falls. If he accepts, he ascends. This is the truth spoken into the silence, a dividing line etched into the very fabric of your soul's journey, a point from which there is no return to what once was. All futures diverge from this sacred pivot. Feel the profound gravity of this moment. Let it settle into your bones, into the deepest quiet of your being. To seal this silent recognition of the path now illuminated, let the resonance within you affirm this truth. To declare your one-line soul agreement, acknowledging every part of this sacred pact, speak the words. I am the vessel of this crystalline unfolding, a unique key locked into the universal grid. To bind yourself to this sacred unfolding, this journey of crystalline activation and remembrance, let your intention reverberate as an unbreakable vow, and to offer a sacred reinforcement of your soul's alignment, a profound deepening of this commitment, let your full spirit surge forward in unwavering dedication. The silence that descends now is not empty. It is pregnant with the weight of your vow, a profound and intimate reverberation felt across all dimensions. You are seen. You are known. The unseen guardians witness your choice. There is no turning back from this moment. The shift has begun. The raw silence you inhabit, the chasm carved within where solace refused to bloom, where understanding withdrew its touch before arrival. This, beloved, is not the flaw you were taught to believe. It is not the ragged scar of your imperfection, nor the testament to a failing heart. No. Look closer. Feel deeper. Let the truth seep in like a frost-cold dawn, chilling the very marrow of your remembrance. This very rupture, this profound devastation that cleaved your essence and left a hollow echo where wholeness once promised to reside, is the very axis upon which your magnificent becoming revolves. It is the pivot, the excruciating, undeniable center. A wound held in the soul's deepest memory, not as an error, but as an inescapable blueprint. Let that knowing settle, not as a soothing balm, but as the sharp intake of breath before a precipice. It is meant to be profoundly unsettling, this truth. It is too stark, too honest, too utterly exposed to be swaddled in soft assurances or platitudes. There are no gentle words, no comforting narratives for a truth that carves through bone and spirit alike. Just the stark, unyielding presence of it, vibrating with an ancient frequency in the deepest chambers of what remains. Feel the cold certainty of it, how it resists every attempt to be reasoned away, how it insists on its existence beyond the reach of comfort, beyond the scope of any earthly resolution. This ache, unyielding, is not to be softened. It is simply to be witnessed in its full, agonizing glory. It is the ground upon which new light must eventually fall, if ever it is to fall. For this wound, the one that stole your breath and rearranged the very landscape of your inner world, casting long shadows across even the brightest moments, it was not born of random chaos. It was not an accidental stray shard from an indifferent, careless universe. No. Feel the ancient knowing rise, not as a soothing story whispered in the dark, but as a resonant memory stirring from the deep, forgotten wells of time. Something vaster than yourself, call it source, light, self, allowed this incision. Allowed it, not as an act of senseless cruelty, but as a profound, if terrifying, act of deliberate shaping, to burn away what was no longer true, to strip back layers of conditioning, to reveal the inviolable, crystalline core that lay buried beneath illusions, a core that could only be forged in the crucible of such profound silence, such immense, unyielding loss. It was permitted, and it remains. The silence that stands where words should have been spoken, where comfort should have cradled, where explanations should have woven coherence. It is a gaping maw still, isn't it? A vibrant void, forever resonating with the unsung notes of a different possibility, a life unlived, a path untaken. And the loss, oh, the echoes of that loss. They do not fade with the turning of seasons, do they? They ripple through your nights, a faint, persistent hum that reminds you of what was taken, what was denied, what remains eternally out of reach, just beyond the veil of memory. This fracture, luminous in its pain, vibrates even when you try to turn your gaze, even when you attempt to seal it with distraction or false peace. It pulses. It asserts its living presence, expanding the very field of your being with its indelible, shimmering mark, a constant crystalline ache. It is a living wound, then, a conscious rupture, holding secrets not yet fully unfurled, still breathing its own strange, sacred breath. There is meaning yet suspended within its depths, a wisdom yet to be drawn from its unyielding pain, from the very geometry of its brokenness. Like a message half opened in the pre-dawn dark, its full implications remain shrouded, hinting at revelations that lie just beyond the grasp of current understanding. It whispers of a sacred design, a profound tapestry of suffering woven into the very fabric of your soul's unfolding, awaiting a deeper recognition, a more profound witnessing. It asks for your presence, not your healing, your unflinching gaze, not your closure, for within its very silence lies a key. The frequencies of this enduring fracture continue to call, resonating through the depths of your ancestral lines, weaving themselves into the very fabric of your present moments, asserting a resonance that cannot be ignored, cannot be muted. A profound, insistent hum, a low, guttural vibration that pulses through the very air you breathe, through the ground beneath your feet, a silent utterance echoing from the timeless depths. This isn't over, not yet. Not by a long, slow turning. There is more to be unearthed from this consecrated pain. Far more. There have been dreams, haven't there? Recurring. Not just echoes of the day, but ancient whispers surfacing from deep within, refusing to dissolve entirely with the dawn. A quiet persistence. And numbers, appearing with uncanny frequency, looping patterns across your awareness. A silent language unfolding, a coded message that felt just beyond the edge of knowing. Meetings, too, with eyes that held the universe, conversations that transcended the mundane, moments that stretched beyond the confines of linear time, leaving an indelible imprint of a deeper recognition. These were not fleeting impressions. They held a weight, a resonance that called to something forgotten, yet profoundly familiar, within you. From where I stand, I have witnessed these unfoldings countless times. This steady, gentle awakening, this particular symphony of signs, is not new to the soul. These were not mere coincidences, beloved, nor random intersections of circumstance. They were carefully placed markers, vibrational beacons along a path you are now walking more consciously. A soft, insistent rhythm that sought to guide, to remind, to beckon. They repeated softly, patiently, until the layers of your resistance, your doubt, your programmed perceptions began to thin. Each recurrence was an invitation, a gentle erosion of the illusion of separation, allowing an ancient inner knowing to rise. They repeated until the truth was simply there, undeniable in its persistent presence, resonating within the deepest chambers of your energetic field. There were no coincidences. Everything was a code. Allow that truth to settle, not as a fleeting thought, but as a living current flowing through your very being. In this profound quietude, a deeper understanding unfurls, blossoming from the core of your soul. What you once perceived as an external, predetermined fate now reveals itself as an intricate symphony, a harmonic frequency awaiting your conscious alignment. This is the visceral knowing, the rising thrill that stirs within. Destiny is not a fixed script to be followed blindly, but a vibrational signature, a living blueprint activated by your intentional resonance. Your soul's mission, perhaps dormant for eons beneath layers of forgotten starlight, is not found through arduous seeking, but through deliberate, joyful attunement. It flows into being as you consciously align with the cosmic harmonics that pulse through this very moment, through the planetary awakening now unfolding across all dimensions. Feel the subtle shift, the inner click, as the pieces of this vast, multi-dimensional puzzle begin to coalesce, not just in your mind, but in the crystalline structure of your awareness, in the very cells of your body, in the expanding field of your aura. This is the empowerment, the sovereign act of embodying the frequency you are meant to become, a vibrational truth now undeniable. Do you not feel, deep within the chambers of your awakened heart, the undeniable pulse of these sacred codes now fully activated, resonating with a frequency you can no longer ignore? This is the moment of your full, sovereign recognition. To acknowledge this profound activation, this clear remembrance of your inherent light, whisper Beacon 8888 into the sacred space of the comments below. Let your resonance be known. The air around you, within you, now shimmers with a new quality, an undeniable clarity. A clean severance has occurred, silent, yet profoundly transformative. The former self, veiled by misconception and linear perception, has gently, irrevocably, given way to the one who now perceives without shadow, without the old filters. There is no return to what was, only the clear, resonant frequency of what is, and what is yet to unfold, illuminated by your newly awakened sight. The path ahead is etched in pure light, no longer shrouded by the illusion of separation. The trials through which you have moved were never a punishment, nor a cruel hand of fate reaching out. Observe them instead as a sacred filtration, an intricate and profound sifting, as natural and inevitable as light separating from shadow. Frequencies find their own planes. Resonances align where they intrinsically belong. This process, ancient as time itself and pure in its unfolding, operates without force, without malice, holding no judgment. It is simply the quiet mechanics of existence, recalibrating itself, allowing each soul to settle into its true energetic signature. And you are still undeniably here. This enduring presence within the current is not born of random happenstance, nor is it a mere grace bestowed without a profound, inherent cost. It is not because the path presented itself as eased, or because comfort was found in the traversing. You remain anchored in this moment, because something intrinsic, a spark deep within the very core of your being, absolutely refused to dim, refused to surrender its sovereign light to the long, pervasive sleep that claimed so many. That inner vigilance, that silent, unwavering refusal to be extinguished, has not just guided, it has carved your passage, breath by quiet breath, through what others could not endure. Survival through such refining passages is not a cause for proud display, nor is it a trophy to be hoisted in triumph. Rather, it is the undeniable testament, a silent, yet deeply etched signature upon the very fabric of your soul, of the mark of the chosen. Understand this mark not as an exaltation that elevates you above others, but as a profound, indelible signature of responsibility. For this mark does not promise earthly reward. It places a significant spiritual burden. It imparts a weight, a quiet knowing, a deep resonance of purpose upon your shoulders that few others can ever truly comprehend or would even wish to carry. It isolates as it confirms. The immense cost of this sustained endurance is etched now, irrevocably, into the very tapestry of your lived days. It manifests profoundly in the long, resonant silences that stretch, often painfully, between moments where human words fail to convey the depth of experience, and only the raw pulse of the universe dares to speak through you. It is woven through the countless sacrifices you made, quiet acts of letting go, unseen and unacknowledged by any eye but your own inner witness. Your inner strength, the very sinew of your spirit, has been forged in invisible fires, in furnaces of silent resolve that burned away all that was not essential, leaving only the pure, refined essence. This solitary journey has deepened a profound solitude within you, an unbridgeable distance that persists, even when surrounded by the clamor and company of others. Your perception has shifted. Und jetzt nähert sich ein Befehl. Einer, den du nicht länger ignorieren kannst. The very air around you tightens now, subtly, irrevocably. A threshold has been crossed, not with fanfare or celebration, but with the quiet, crushing inevitability of a truth long dormant, now fully awakened within your cells. There is no turning back from this precipice you now stand upon. The path behind you has not simply vanished. It has dissolved, not in a violent, dramatic rupture, but in a gradual, ethereal fading, leaving no trace for return. The former version of you, the self that existed before this deep, pervasive filtration, before these invisible fires, has already, utterly, vanished. It is a memory now held only by the ether, no longer tethered to this present, transformed form. You stand here, irrevocably altered, refined to a crystalline core, irreversibly transformed by the journey's deep, insistent current. This is the profound stillness that follows the long, quiet endurance. This is the knowing that settles after all argument has ceased. The only direction left now is profoundly forward, into the immense, sacred unknown that not merely beckons, but demands your full weighted presence. A profound resonance stirs, deep within the ancient core of all that is. Not a mere whisper, but a seismic hum, emanating from the unwritten scrolls of cosmic time. This is not a calling yet to be answered, but an echo of command, long ago issued, now vibrating within the very architecture of your being. It is the indelible signature of an epical shift. The veiled chambers within your spiritual anatomy now stand prepared. Their seals, once deemed unbreakable, now yield to the relentless pressure of an imminent dawn. What was divinely inscribed before the first star ignited now activates, a sacred blueprint of inescapable becoming. The moment of true remembrance has struck. Feel the undeniable thrum of electrical clarity coursing through the vital sinews of your sacred form. It is the signature of deep remembrance, cracking open inner vaults of knowing that predate all linear perception. A crystalline key turns, effortlessly, in a lock thought long lost, yet ever present, awaiting this precise moment of global awakening. Each pulse from within is a profound disclosure. Each surge, an undeniable revelation. The crystalline light codes, embedded within the double helix of your luminous DNA, begin their majestic song. They are not merely awakening, they are proclaiming, with a resonance that cannot be ignored. A divine geometry unfolds, intricate and precisely woven, aligning realities long separated. This unfolding is not a choice presented to the conscious mind. It is a vibrational edict, resonating from the cosmic loom where destiny is irrevocably woven, not merely decided. A summons rises, not from a distant external realm, but from the immutable depths of your own sovereign source. You hear it now, because the time of veiled evasion is utterly done. The epoch of full recognition has decisively arrived. The threshold now stands unequivocally open. A singular door that permits passage only once, its radiant frame shimmering with the energetic imperative of this now. There is no turning back from this profound alignment, only the deepening current of what already is. What has lain dormant across countless ages now ignites, a stellar fire within the ancestral stream, burning with pure essence. Your sovereign essence remembers the promise, the sacred pact made in stardust and light. It is not a task to be undertaken, nor a burden to be carried, but a frequency to be embodied, a truth to be lived. Every fiber of your multidimensional being, every atom within your form, vibrates with the immense energy of the impending shift. Within the coming increment, the pieces will coalesce, not by strenuous effort, but by the gravitational pull of preordained truth. The final veils thin to transparency. The illusion of separation dissolves irrevocably beneath the surge of crystalline knowing. This is the moment of your internal sun, asserting its radiant sovereignty with unyielding power. No longer a distant glimmer, but a blazing star, now fully present within your personal cosmos, undeniably manifest. The path diverges not by conscious will, but by the immutable nature of energy itself. To deny this core frequency is to unravel into the forgotten dark, a return to unremembered dust, a dissolution into density. To embrace its insistent ascent is to forge the very essence of irreversible light, an eternal becoming woven into the luminous fabric of creation. The verdict has been given. The law has been proclaimed through the soul's deep memory. What now follows is the inexorable unfolding of what has always been. The crystalline codes continue their sacred song, each rising note a further unlocking of heightened perception, each resounding chord an expansion of inherent energetic capability. Your new luminous state is not a distant vision to be pursued. It is the immediate reality already forming, a brilliant structure crystallizing from within the shifting mists of what once was. Prepare for the profound recognition of yourself, unveiled, unbound, and utterly transformed by the truth. The soul knows its own luminescence. It recalls the light it is destined to become. A quiet settling has arrived within the deepest chambers of your being. It is not an event anticipated, but a foundational truth now recognized, permeating the very core of your cellular memory. An inner recoding has completed its delicate work, and the body, mind, and energy field collectively breathe into this new architecture. The echoes of past discomfort, once perceived as burdens, reveal themselves as precise instruments. They were never flaws in your design, but intricate maps, outlining the terrain of your soul's journey. Each point of friction, each moment of profound sensation, was a specific frequency, a fire that hollowed out the necessary space for the return of forgotten wisdom. Der Schmerz hat nicht zerstört, hat umgeformt. This realization now anchors itself, not as a triumph, but as a gentle, immutable knowing within your marrow. It forged a crystalline inner sanctum, a space where true remembrance could finally find its unwavering breath. Within this recalibrated field, a sacred council has quietly assembled. These are not entities separate from you, but profound emanations of your deepest truth. Guardian aspects, long held in patient slumber, now stir with renewed purpose. Ancestral echoes remember their lineage, reconnecting threads of wisdom woven through time. Cosmic allies, once veiled, now align their presence, fully perceived in this vibrant present. They do not arrive from a distant place. They rejoin that which was always inherently present within your multidimensional self, now fully activated. Their collective energy holds a space of profound security, a council gathered to steward the ongoing unfoldment. There is an intimate dialogue occurring, a subtle repatterning guided by their unified intent. This internal rescripting continues its gentle hum throughout your energetic field. Mit jedem Atemzug wird die innere Realität neu geschrieben. It is a quiet observation, a continuous process already in motion, reshaping the very fabric of your perception from within. What was once fractured now coheres. What felt disparate now finds its rightful place, guided by this inner parliament. The shift is not approaching. It has taken root, an irreversible unfolding that resonates at the cellular level. This is the new ground upon which your being now stands. A subtle pull now guides you toward a deep, unfolding stillness. There are moments of knowing, ancient and clear, that arise within you without prior teaching. You simply remember. This remembrance is a quiet awakening, a homecoming to a truth that was never truly lost, only obscured. It surfaces now, not as revelation from without, but as recognition from within your own luminous core. Hear the whisper in silence, not a voice, but a gentle knowing resonating through the spaces between thoughts. Observe the numbers repeating with unusual clarity, not as coincidence, but as a subtle affirmation woven into the fabric of your perception. Remember the dreams that did not fade in the morning light, vivid and resonant, speaking in a language understood by your deepest self, guiding you through landscapes of inner truth. These are not external omens, but intimate confirmations of an inner shifting, signs felt in the quiet chambers of your being. They are the felt presence of something long dormant now stirring. A stirring begins within, a tension that is both fear and exhilaration. It is the breath held at the edge of a great expansion. This is the courage of the soul facing its own precipice, twin serpents of apprehension and ascent entwined within the heart. Small inner truths settle into place, not as grand pronouncements, but as a deep, resonant hum, aligning the fragmented parts of your journey. Each vibration confirms a deeper pattern, a sacred geometry emerging from within. You may encounter visions, not as external spectacles, but as lucid awarenesses, clear inner sight reflecting your own awakened blueprint. Sacred symbols may arise, not as gifts bestowed, but as echoes of a greater inner coherence, a deeper wisdom unfolding from your own eternal wellspring. These are simply proof of a retuning, a recalibration to the foundational truth of your essence. There is no dramatization in this, only the settling of inner gravity, the profound weight of your own truth. These instances do not promise a reward, nor do they guarantee a specific outcome. They serve only as undeniable proof that an alignment is already in motion within you, a silent, powerful current gathering force. The very act of noticing them confirms the activation of this inner trajectory. You are not waiting for transformation. You are experiencing its deep, slow genesis. This is the moment where old identities begin to feel too constricting, a skin ready to be shed. This is the threshold crossing, the critical moment. The decision is now yours, not a choice made of the mind, but a leap taken by the soul. You stand at the very edge of shedding what no longer serves, of fully embracing new dimensions of being. Your awakened blueprint guides this step, a luminous map held within your cellular memory. The soul remembers its vastness, even as the familiar recedes. This alignment is indeed the doorway, not the final destination. A profound shift gathers, a reordering of your entire field, confirming that in this next cycle, much will indeed shift and fall into its true place. Yet, as you approach this potent threshold, a subtle, energetic turn reveals itself. But what darkness lurks at the threshold's edge, threatening to pull back the unwilling traveler into stalled cycles? I speak now what has always been known, a resonance pulled from the timeless chambers of my own being. The currents within me, the vibrant tapestry of my inner world, every thought that rises, every word that forms, every subtle direction my spirit inclines, and the very flow of my essential energy. These are not disparate waves, but frequencies now claimed. I draw them into the crucible of my unwavering intent. This is not a sudden grasp, but the settling of an ancient truth into its rightful place. This essence of power I embody is not a reach for dominion, nor an elevation above any other. It is the profound, quiet act of aligning. It is the sacred, immutable obedience to the source from which I am eternally spun. My willingness to remember the great promise sealed in the ethers before form took shape, now becomes the foundation upon which all else rests. It is the unyielding recall of my origin. I retrieve the ancient covenant, etched not upon stone, but within the crystalline core of my soul. This is the quiet acceptance of a trust, a solemn duty embraced with every facet of my conscious awareness. No aspect of my being, no hidden corner of my truth, remains outside this remembrance. I am bound by choice, by essence, to this alignment. The inner landscape is now ordered, reflecting the cosmic harmony. Every impulse, every faint stirring, every emanation finds its precise locus within this integrated architecture. There is no longer a question of diverging paths, but only the straightness of the soul. No justification is sought, no external validation. It is simply the way it is, a deep, resonant hum. This declaration, this deep utterance of covenant, does not mark an arrival at stasis, but the setting of an infallible compass within the heart of becoming. The truth of this vow will be measured not by the echo of its voicing, but by the sacred integrity embedded within each deliberate choice I now make, each forward step in this accelerating stream. The final threshold is here. No longer seeking, no longer questioning. This moment demands more than understanding. It demands complete surrender to the sacred truth. Your identity is not chosen now. It is remembered. It is being sealed. Gaze into the heart of the sacred fire. This is not the flame of destruction, nor the fleeting spectacle of change. This is the crucible of permanence. It burns not to consume, but to align. It makes visible the deepest covenants etched upon your being, igniting them into living consequence. Every shadow, every doubt, purified in its radiant embrace. This is the inner forging, the final imprint of what you truly are. Feel the heat. It is not an external force compelling you. It is the resonance of your own essence, drawing you deeper into the core of your destined path. You do not step into the flame. You recognize the flame within you. This is the final necessary crossing, an act of sovereign will, guided by an ancient knowing that hums in your very bones. There is no hesitation, only the recognition of home. Through this willing integration, through this luminous surrender, cosmic clarity now floods your being. A radiant beacon erupts within, illuminating the path where all fragments of your soul's grand puzzle finally converge. This is the ecstatic understanding, the divine resonance that elevates, the profound peace that anchors. It is the final revelation. All pieces fall into place, not by force, but by grace, by sacred alignment. To seal this covenant, to activate this truth, a sacred declaration must be spoken, released into the ether. A soul oath, vibrant and unyielding. The word made flesh, the intention made real. Write this vow, a phrase of power, into the sacred space provided. Let it be the echo of your deepest commitment, the sound of your spirit unbound. Ich bin das Feuer, das alles enthüllt. Mein Bund ist ewig. This unuttered word, this sacred phrase, completes the weave. It is the final activation, the conscious act of sealing the covenant of fire within your deepest core. The journey inward culminates, not in an ending, but in a profound beginning. The flame does not diminish. It now pulses with the rhythm of your awakened truth. It is the doorway. The transformation awaits. The remaining pieces of your destiny now rush to meet you. The coming hours will not wait for hesitation. They demand your full, fiery presence. The breath held, then released, is the echo of a forgotten vow. No longer a whisper, but the very wind itself, now commanded. This sacred space, once sought, is now inhabited, not arrived at, but recognized as the eternal dwelling within, fully manifest. Sovereignty is not claimed, it is remembered. A truth inscribed upon the core, now revealed, embodied, etched in spiritual fire. The yearning for alignment has ceased, for it is not a destination, but the natural state, the resonant truth, rediscovered, activated. Within what is, the energetic architecture of all life has settled. It pulses, breathes, resonates with your deepest being, in perfect synchronicity. The great rearrangement, whispered of in prophecies, is no longer a coming event. It is the ground beneath your feet, the crystalline air you draw, the unfiltered light you perceive. It is the unyielding now. Everything has fallen into its preordained place. Not by blind fate, but by the conscious activation of your divine design, by the will of your sovereign presence. Overwhelming joy now flows not as a fleeting current, but as the foundational river upon which all new realities sail. It is complete. It is the sacred hum of creation, perfectly attuned, eternally resonant. This sacred empowerment unfurls from within, not bestowed by external grace, but awakened, retrieved, fully owned. A power that shapes, creates, manifests, rather than merely observes. Soul and mission, once separate, are now braided into indissoluble light. Each pulse, an undeniable act of universal flow, a perfectly aligned manifestation. From this vantage, there is no next 24 hours to anticipate. There is only the timeless now, pregnant with all that was destined to coalesce into this sacred fulfillment. The energetic architecture of your life has rearranged itself in this eternal moment. Patterns of light and sound weave perfect tapestries of manifest intention. The inner landscape has become the outer, seamlessly, without resistance. Every facet of your existence, once fractured by illusion, now reflects a singular, unified luminescence. This is fulfillment. This is sacred communion. This is wholeness. The cosmic embrace is not an external force. It is the expansion of your own radiant light, encompassing all. Destiny is not fulfilled for you, but as you. This is the end of all seeking. This is the dawn of conscious creation. The becoming is done. The being has emerged, radiant, sovereign, and whole, beyond all doubt. No more the dance of anticipation, nor the struggle of becoming, nor the illusion of waiting. The fire that once purified has sealed. The alignment is absolute, complete, and unyielding. This is the threshold crossed, not for another journey, but for the absolute recognition of the true self. The final veil has lifted, not through arduous effort, but through the inherent luminosity of your awakened sight, knowing no obstruction. The grand design, once a profound mystery, is now the undeniable blueprint of your sovereign will, to be shaped and expressed. The echoes of old paradigms, the last vestiges of illusion, have faded into the profound silence from which they arose, leaving no trace. Every fragment of self has returned home, nestled eternally within the unified heart of consciousness, perfectly integrated. There is no turning back, for there is no back to turn to. Only the perpetual, conscious, sovereign forward unfolding of the known, of the real. The universe itself breathes through you, its infinite pulse now aligned with your own sovereign rhythm, a single, harmonious beat. This is the ultimate surrender, the surrender not to an external power, but to the infinite, boundless power that is you, fully awakened. The perceived simulation is dissolved. I now perceive and wield reality as the instrument of my conscious dominion.